2 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Action in Japan. Looks like a great start from Cabeza Speed once again. Rosella cuts across Danny, but for the most part fairly static. Cabeza up the inside of Wedding, and Alex is going to have a look as well. It's forced in wide, but Rosella leads through the first section of corners as they snake their way through the famous first sector of Suzuka. So Rosella, Danny, Cabeza Speed, Wedding, Alex, Jeff, Brendan Ross, Tapeda, Norwat, Kavanagh, Moriano and Aguirre, who started from the pit lane. He was fast in qualifying and he's already built up a little bit of a gap here in the first sector. So ideal start for Rosella as the rest of the field jostle for position here on this first lap. Currently clear, but there is a slight chance of rain later on in the race that we'll have to keep an eye out for. And there we go. That's why Cabeza had such a great start. He's jumped the start there. It's gone just a little bit too early as Rosella almost 2 seconds clear already. As we've got Kavanagh here making a move on Norwat. We'll go around the outside at 130R. Norwat us backs out a little bit, and we've got the Mercedes of Moriano going through as well. And whoa, he's deep on the brakes, and he's almost made contact. That would have been a monumental accident with Kavanagh, but thankfully no contact with another car. He's dropped it onto the grass just afterwards as well. I don't know if he's going to get back going there. Now that would have been a big accident. In fact, he's out, but Rosella leads 2.2 seconds clear. He is on the hard tyre as we've got Cabeza Speed. He's serving his drive-through. Thankfully for him, the pit lane here isn't too short, or is too long, I should say. And here we go. So he's rolling off the start, and he's outside his pit box. So that's what would have caused it. You do have to hold the brake a little bit there. And for once, Wedding didn't have the worst start ever, as Rosella leads Danny second. And Wedding now starting to close in on Danny here. Got a number of runners on the hard tyres here. Oh, there's Sapita. He's lost it at Spoon, and his awkward rejoin, but perfectly timed. So that allows Aguirre and Norwat up a few spots. And there's the gap, 3 seconds in 3 laps. Rosella, fastest lap of the race, and we've got Alex and Jeff battling it out, and we've got Brendan Ross has had a bit of an adventure there, and that's going to drop him down some time as well, unfortunately. Here's Sapita into the pit lane to serve. Oh, is it to serve a penalty, or is he changing tyres here? He might be changing tyres. And Ross over the back of Aguirre. Oh, he's dropped it. I think he's got a little bit too far. His left rear over that curbing. And Norwat's going to get by now. So he was in an alright position, but he's dropped a couple of spots here in the last half a lap or so. So behind Norwat. It's also on the hard tyre here. He's going to have a look here at the first part of Spoon. They're going to go side by side. Still side by side. Norwat runs a little bit wide, no. And Ross will take that position back into P7 for the Haas team. Cabeza Speed now recovering behind Kavanagh here. DRS is available, but it doesn't look like he's got it open. Doesn't matter though, still gets the move done, and getting some more vital points for Williams in the Constructors' Championship. So a big recovery job for him. As we've got Brendan Ross. Oh, it looks like he's once again chopped the right side this time, just a little bit too far over that second lot of Vallelunga curbing, and he's dropped it. He hasn't hit the wall though, but those tyres will be very hot right now. And dropped him a couple spots. And we've got Cabeza Speed now behind Norwat. This time he does have DRS open. You can see the speed he's pulling. 325 kilometres an hour into turn 1. Gets the job done. Up to P7 in the Williams. And Aguirre 8 seconds down the road, but at this speed he should catch him. And, well, Wedding now within DRS range of Danny. He's been nibbling away at the Aston Martin driver. You can just see that hard tyre just seems to be working a little bit better than the medium here. He's just edging closer and closer. He's got the toe here, does Wedding. But do you pass now at the chicane, or do you wait for the DRS zone is the question. Wedding just showing the nose, going to try and force Danny to move over and compromise his line a bit. So he's looking just to use the DRS instead. Danny's got a fairly good exit though out of the chicane. Wedding will have DRS, but he is going to be close enough to make a move, but it's going to be in that awkward zone. He's going to have to really commit for turn 1. He's leaving Danny's space, but he's overcommitted for turn 2, and Danny's going to sweep back ahead. So, big battle here for P2, Aston Martin and Alpine. Got Brendan Ross and Norwat while that was going on, battling it out once more. Oh, and it's just awkward between the two, and Ross has come in. He's got the job done. A little bit wide for the second part of Spoon, but he's up a spot. And a little bit wide there from Danny, the first part of the final chicane. Wedding's a little bit closer than the previous lap here. We'll have DRS, of course. And just see the speed advantage the DRS does have. And up the inside, he's had to commit early. Doesn't want to run too far wide. May have been a little bit of slight contact, but leaves Danny enough space to get around the corner. But Wedding into second. Alpine 1-2. And they are looking to really fight for that Constructors' Championship now, as Norway's got himself a drive-through penalty for track limits. We've got Sapita almost into the back of Kavanagh, and Kavanagh also locking up at the same time here, so battling for the final spot in the points. Sapita will have DRS. And does he get the job done? His top speed isn't all that great, so running a lot of wing on that car. But Sapita getting the job done. Cabazza's speed now. He's caught the back of the Alfa Romeo of Maguire. He will have DRS. He's got very good top speed, as we saw earlier. Maguire going defensive parking car in the middle of the road. Cabezza's going to try and sweep around the outside, and he does. That's a nice move. Shades of Raikkonen and Fisichella 2005 there. So Cabezza now up to P6, and he's going to chase after P5, which wouldn't have been thought of a few laps ago. He's got Rosella there right in the lead. He's got the entire pit straight, a second a lap over his teammate and the rest of the field. Danny into the pits. He's about 2.5 seconds behind Wedding, looking to undercut the second of the Alpines here. But the question is, where's he going to feed out? You're not going to want to have any traffic. And it is going to be touch and go with this pack that's headed by Alex, with Cabeza speed and Aguirre there as well. So Danny's got going. It's going to be tight, but I think Danny's going to end up behind all three of them. So he's going to have to clear them quickly. He was faster before the pit stop, and obviously with some soft tyres, he's going to be much faster than him now. But this is a circuit where you can get held up. You can just see visually faster through turn 3. Already caught the back of Aguirre here. And he needs as much clear air as possible. He was 2.5 seconds behind Wedding, so he needs to clear these cars as soon as possible. Oh, and he's cut over the first part of the dignity. I'm not sure the stewards are going to look too kindly on that. He slowed down to try and give up the time. But officials here have been very strict this weekend. So will he get penalised is the question, or will he just get off with a bit of a warning? But he did try to slow down, or he did slow down. As we've got Cabeza trying to get himself up into 4th place. A good recovery drive so far for the Williams driver after jumping the start. Oh, but he's wide there, as is Aguirre. The second part of Spoon. And the question remains. Oh, there we go. So the stewards weren't too happy, and it is a drive-through penalty for Danny. Now, he does have pace advantage on these guys in front of him. There's a lot of curb usage there for Cabeza speed. And we've got Alex in the pits. So he's going to look to use some fresh tyres to try and stay ahead of Cabeza here. But thankfully for Danny, and for those that do pick up drive-throughs here. The pit lane compared to the rest of the circuit, 80 kilometers an hour. It's a long circuit. It's not the worst pit lane in the world to have to serve a drive-through. You're not going to lose as much time as what you will at others, but still, disaster for Danny. Of course, essentially secured the driver's title, but he won a good result here, and there you go. Quite a big cut. I think he's just gone to turn in early there. He's anticipating some aero washes. We've got Ross all kinds of sideways there. And, well, he's got track limits penalty for that as well. They're very, very strict there. A little bit unfair, one would say. But stewards don't want people leaving the circuit in certain parts of the circuit. And all that, I think, was that Kevin? I can't remember getting that that other drive-through. So, a number of drivers for various different corners have been done for track limits here. That's Ross staying out for now, but of course he will have to come in. Not ideal for Danny. Costing him a little bit of time. As Cabeza Speed now, he's served his pit stop and he's come out behind Alex. But he will have a couple of better tyres. But these two both behind Ross, and Ross holding Alex up here. And that's ideal for Cabeza Speed. It's brought him right into play. Ross has to serve not only a penalty, but also has to change his tyres. Oh, and he's dropped it. Well, he's done what he did earlier. Just a little bit too far over the second strip of curbing. And Cabeza's got the run here. Is he going to go for it at 130 yard? Very risky. They're going to go side by side with Alex, and they've avoided contact somehow. And again, very, very close in the lead up to the chicane. Hard battling between these two. But Cabeza will have to fall in line. He will have the DRS though, and he has got some very good top speed in that Williams Mercedes. And there we go, up the inside into turn one, sweeps ahead. And he's now about 6 seconds or so behind his teammate in P6 though. We've got Aguirre now into the pits to serve his pit stop and to change tyres. Strategy of the day seems to be medium and soft once again, although we do have some runners that have started on the hard. Seems to be working for the Alpines, which have yet to pit. And Aguirre will come out behind Cepeda. He's gone over the blend line there. I wonder if the stewards will have a look at that, but no harm done there. Rosella now into the pit lane. And they've got two sets of tyres out as well. So it looks like Wedding will be following his teammate in on the same lap here on that 17. So Aguirre right behind Cepeda. And that's Wedding into the pit lane. This is Rosella on the way out here. And comfortable gap to his teammate and the rest of the field. Aguirre out behind Cepeda, still on the hard tyres. Aguirre on a fresh set of softs here. And closer and closer. He's going to have a look at the chicane. He's going to go for the move. Is he deep? No, he's been able to bring it up. And I think because of where he pulled it off as well, he's going to have DRS as well. So the perfect move from Aguirre. And now I think this is going to be the big battle here for the final spot on the rostrum between Jeff and Danny. They've got a bit of a gap over Cabeza Speed, who's travelling nicely. But he'll be hoping the cars in front do a little bit of battle, and that gap can come down a little bit. And we have Alex and Aguirre. We've got Cepeda there entering into the pit lane there. A rather large field spread here. Cepeda putting on a soft tyre. We've got Jeff and Danny. Jeff just keeping Danny out of DRS range. Cabeza Speed, and then Alex there. The American holding on to third. So Danny is closing in. I think it's just within DRS range, but of course the detection point is a little bit earlier, so he hasn't quite got it yet, but he's getting closer and closer and closer. But Jeff is doing just enough to hold on. As we've got Kavanagh and Norwat. So Norwat leaving the pits, and Kavanagh, this is full position for them, and they've made contact into turn 2. I'm not sure if that was because Norwat just come in too heavy, or if that was because he was turned down on by Kavanagh there. But Norwat just redressing the position, waiting for the Aston Martin to go by. And Kavanagh's gone around, so I don't know if he's got further damage from that, or if that's just because his tyres are a little bit hot, but not ideal for Kavanagh. And we've got a Red Bull in the wall here. And obviously there's only one of them, so Alex turning hard right with the same amount of throttle. He must have some kind of issue here, and it's still going. A disaster for Red Bull and for Alex.
Steering wheel failure. Try to reset it, Alex.
I'm trying, mate. That's a big crash. Prepare to box.
And there you go. A steering wheel failure, some hardware failure for the Red Bull drivers in a decent position, so it's a shame for him. And that last contact took a wheel off as well. And because it's just sitting there and revving, it is overheating the engine, so it looks like he has recovered. Just hit the Control-Alt-Delete and close the program, restart it. But it's going to take him a while to get back to the pits. Now, this long sweeping right will be okay for him, but Spoon is going to be painful, as is 130R, because all that weight and ground clearance on the right front is, well, it's gone because there's no wheels. So round the outside goes Ross. That was a bit risky. And there you go. There's a demonstration of what happens when you lose a right front wheel and you try to take a left-hand turn. So he's going to struggle back to the pits. But you can see smoke coming out of the engine as well. That car has overheated. As we've got Williams versus Aston Martin, the battle for third. And Danny does have DRS, but Jeff is just fast enough in the twisty bits to stay ahead as the Red Bull team try to repair Alex's car. Danny trying his best. Maybe a little bit quicker, but not enough to really put serious pressure on Jeff. Here we go. Here's the replay. So it's turned off there. It's just static revs and static steering position, and unfortunately that's what's caused the drama for the Red Bull. And still constant smoke out the back of that. That engine is not happy. It's been sitting in the pit lane for a while. It was revving freely at the hairpin for a while. So they're hoping that the car will make it to the end more than anything. And here we go. Last lap, one of the last opportunities here for Danny. It's as close as he's been. Jeff knows it. Blocking off the insides. Danny's going to have to try the outside. Not quite close enough. And Jeff again holds the inside, gets a decent exit, and will live through the S's. He's just not got to make a mistake. And we've also got Cabeza Speed, who's ended up behind Aguirre here. So what has happened to Cabeza Speed? He's dropped a lot of time here. And well, there's the team radio. So he's gone a little bit too quickly and used up a little bit too much of his revs there. And had to coast all the way there. But faultless drive from Rosella. And it could be a grand slam. He's got the fastest lap, pole position, led every single lap, although his teammate's going quite quickly at the moment. He's got Norwad, very late drive-through penalty for track limits. So Wedding very fast in the first two sectors. He's looking to steal the fastest lap off his teammate here. As the battle between Jeff and Danny continues, but Jeff is doing just enough. Wedding will come home in P2. He'll steal fastest lap of the race by just a tenth of a second. His teammate's not going to be too pleased stealing the Grand Slam away from him. Jeff will hold on and grab a podium, handy podium for Williams, and Danny will come home in fourth. Normat serving his penalty at the end there. And then we'll have Aguirre just ahead. Cabeza Speed has got Kavanagh behind Alex. That's the final spot on the podium, and that's a Honda engine. I think that's expired. A lot more smoke out of that engine and not a lot of forward motion.
Alex, you have oil pressure failure. Engine is broke. So sorry, mate.
Seriously, mate, you guys are the Haas track is better than this. We will talk after the race.
Not happy Alex, but a very happy Luke Rosella, outside of maybe the clean sweep being taken from him, but fantastic result for Alpine.